Good morning, happy Friday, and welcome back to the NOFO Live Show, where I, Sunita, along with my co-host Tracy, we hop on every Friday and talk about everything North Fork. It is officially March. It's March 1st, and as far as I'm concerned, it's the first day of spring. Yes, I am wearing a bathing suit and a bikini cover-up because immediately after the show, I am heading to a polar plunge with a good friend, but if everybody remembers the groundhog, he or she did say that it's an early spring. So on the North Fork, we are just pretending that it is spring. The sun is out. It's a little cool, but it still looks like spring. Extra special treat today. We have a fisherman, a lifelong fisherman market that pretty much everybody goes to. And I think he's had it for years and years and years. And so I can't wait for him to be on and talk about. Good morning, Charlie. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
So, in your young life, I'm still calling you a lifelong fisherman, which kind of makes you seem old, but you've been doing this a long time, correct?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, ever since I could pretty much walk, my grandfather and my father are both baymen. They both still are. I ended up going a different route. I ended up coming into the fish market and doing that end of it.
Wait, what route? I'm sorry, what route did they go on?
They're both. I went a different route. I went into the fish market, and they're still on the water.
Oh, that's the difference. You're on land, they're on water.
Yep.
That's the difference. I was trying to figure out what is the difference because you're a fisherman too, but you spend your days fishing on the water, if you on the land, if you will.
Correct.
Okay, awesome. I was waiting for Tracy to hop on, but we have so many people already here. So let's jump in. Tell
Okay.
everybody who you are and what you do.
My name's Charlie Manwaring. I'm the owner of Southold Fish Market and Sophie's Rest here on East End of Long Island. At the fish market, just to give you a little background about me, I've been doing this now 37 years. I started when I was 12 years old, and I took over in 2000. So 24 years, I've been actually the owner of the Southold Fish.
Morning,
Good
Tracy. We
morning.
jumped right in because
Yes,
Charlie was here. So
don't let me interrupt. Don't let me interrupt.
okay, so some of us who've been here long enough remember that originally the Southold Fish Market was in a different location. Was that the first location where you started, or did you have something before that?
No, yes. The Morrises actually started that back in I think the 50s. My dad actually worked for Bill Morris. Growing up, I was always like the little pesky kid that ran around the docks, and that's kind of how I started down there. Um, Going further, when I was about 10, 12 years old, there was a gentleman called Ace Cottrell. He had bought it from the Morrises. I worked for him for a couple of years, just on and off. And then the Denizios ended up buying it, and I worked for them all through high school and college. And then one day they decided they wanted to retire, and it came open, and I jumped on it.
And this is what is the current / old Porta Vija, correct?
Correct. It's now where the Shoals Hotel is and stuff
Okay.
like that. So we it was always a bait shop next to us, and then the bait shop ended up leaving and moving across down the road. And it's funny because now him and I are both neighbors here on this property. So it's pretty
So
it's weird.
your fish shop also used to be the lobby to the hotel because there was a hotel there too, right? I mean, it was really designed for water life because it's on the bay, correct?
Yeah, no. Basically, no. The lobby used to be on the hotel. Used to be in the middle of the building. Ours was just mainly fish market and a bait shop because years ago they used to rent boats out of there, and if everybody didn't catch fish, they could buy it in the fish market. Mr. Morris, he was pretty smart. He got it coming and going, so he wasn't a dumb
That's
man.
really smart. That's really
Yeah.
smart. So
So
everybody
he
comes
had
home with something.
Exactly. And then, especially you tell your wives, oh, I went fishing, I caught all this fish, but most guys probably ended up buying
Yeah.
it.
Because that's still an option today. So I wouldn't be sharing that secret.
Yeah.
But you were on the bay. So even the fishermen that were catching it were pretty much just unloading at your back door and that was going into the market and then we were able to buy it. Is that how it worked?
Yeah. Yeah, we had at the time with Mr. Denizio, We had like 4 or 5 commercial guys right in that little harbor that I'd buy from. So it was actually really neat because you could go out. I mean, I worked for John forever, so I would always be out in the boat in the morning, and I'd go into fish market in the afternoon. Mid morning I'd go into fish market and run the fish market. So it was pretty neat.
What year did you take it over, Charlie?
2000. Between Christmas and New Year's, 99, 2000. So that they got the Christmas and I got the New Year.
Wow.
So that's when you officially crossed over from fisherman to fish market owner, if you will. So you left the water and you're on land now.
Yeah, I mean, I still do a little bit on the water, but primarily, I'm stuck here. My day starts very early. I start talking to the guys 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. We got fish coming usually by 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. We have different guys coming, but I'm pretty much know what I'm getting by 8 o'clock in the morning. So it just depends on when the guys get in from fishing and stuff.
And how many commercial fishermen, I don't even know the terms, so you're going to have to bear with me. Fishermen, shops, rigs, whatever do you work with?
There's some women
Fisher
too.
women. Yes. Yes.
How many guys locally are still doing it?
Locally, how many, provide you with what we buy?
In the summertime, I buy from probably 15 to 20 different guys weekly. I have my predominantly who I buy what from, so it kind of works out like, I know what they're gonna pretty much have every day, so I get it from them. This time of year, I buy from the big boats over in Shinnecock, so there's a couple guys over there that I deal with. The hardest thing is finding fishermen that take care of the fish. Not that they don't take care of the fish, but for us, I'm a stickler when it comes to icing fish and take, I don't want something beat up and stuff like that. So we're hard on those guys about that. You'll get over on me once. I'll let you get over on me once, but that's it. You're gonna hear me complain.
So in your store, you have a pretty good description of what is local and what's not local, because obviously not everything is local. So give us an idea. Typically, what do you get that's local that everybody can buy?
It depends on the season. It all depends on the season and what we're catching. And coming up now this spring, we're gonna start having fluke, flounder, porgies, sea bass. There'll be a little bit of run of codfish, depending on if it commercially opens. It all goes by seasons. So they will get as the season progresses. We'll get we'll have striped bass, we'll have bluefish. We'll get, all kinds of different fish. I mean, anything local we'll get.
Now, I think one of the most interesting things that a lot of people may or may not know is that it's also a place where you can go in and get made food, and you can go and sit and that, I feel like, just from the name, you wouldn't necessarily know that. So you kind of have to hear word of mouth, and then all of a sudden you hear like, oh, I can go sit and have a lobster roll at the fish market. I'm like, I'm in it. This is great.
Yeah, that was like one of my plans all along. When I first took over the place, I always said that, I wanted something to do with food too, because I love food. I mean, obviously I'm a big guy, so I like to eat, but I do I like trying different recipes and stuff. And with the pandemic that just went on, I feel I feel we have a lot more new cooks. So it was actually fun for me to get people to try different fish. There's a lot of fish that people are used to flounder, fluke, especially locally. Flounder, fluke, codfish. That's like your staples. Everybody eats salmon. We got to have people try sand sharks. We got to skate. We got to have people try sea robins. So there was, people will try anything. Like if New York Times or Newsday puts out an ad and says, "Oh, this is the best fish," then you got to run and get that fish because everybody has to try it. So you got to stay up on that stuff like that too. But with the internet and everything, the recipes are so easy to get. It pretty much tells you how to cook everything. So we got to see a lot of new chefs where most people were ordering out all the time out when they came out here. But now that they were living out here, they didn't go out as much, and they actually cooked at home, which was kind of neat.
Okay,
Now,
so
who does the cooking at your establishment? Who's the chef there?
I have the same guys I've had for 5 or 6 years now. I got this gentleman Arturo. He's been great. He pretty much does our everyday thing, and then the crew underneath him, they work hard. I mean, they're all hard workers. They come in early, they stay late, just like fishermen too. They start early, they end late. It's part of the whole crew here at the fish market. We come together all in the morning and we leave all together. It's not like we have people coming and going.
That's great.
I want to talk a little bit about the expansion of the business because I remember ordering clams and stuff to be shucked from your old location, and we pick it up and eat here on our deck because I don't remember an actual place to eat there. So I guess the restaurant part of it, has it expanded more because you're now in this new location, have a bigger parking lot? Tell us a little bit more about how that transition has been in terms of growing.
Oh, it's been huge. Like I the fish market is always my love for this whole business. But now that we're doing the takeout and the sit down and stuff, that's becoming part of it too because it's fun figuring out different things that people like. I have Candace and Cindy. They really work hard at this side of it for me, and which is kind of cool because I can concentrate on the fish side and they concentrate on this side. So it's really nice. We all come up with different recipes and we throw recipes at each other and no, this ain't gonna work, that's gonna work, or and then we try it and it doesn't work and then we're like, see, we told you. But it's unfortunately we're all brothers and sisters, so
Aha.
so we have that little circle between us.
The competition of siblings.
100%.
Yes. Yes, that's great.
I must say the specials, I mean, I go there frequently, and I too have a tough time deciding what I want to eat because there are so many choices, and sometimes you are introducing new options, and I'm like, ooh, but I don't want to give up on what I like. I don't know, Tracy, if you've ever had either their seafood salad, like the prepared, or the lobster salad.
I've
It
had.
is one of the best because I don't see a filler. Like I'm scoping through it, and all I see is actual fish and meat, and it's amazing. So yeah,
Yes,
it's
I've
definitely
had the
worth
lobster
whatever you're
roll.
paying for it at that moment.
And I think this is worth mentioning. I've had the lobster roll, but I've also had like an amazing chicken sandwich there because I am actually allergic to all fish. I'm not allergic to shellfish, but I'm allergic to all swimming fish. So a lot of times when someone says we're going to a seafood restaurant, I'm like, ugh, because I don't know how much I'm going to have to choose from. I've had some incredible, and everything I've had there is amazing, Charlie. Everything I've had is delicious.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We try. I mean, that was the one thing, like, with like burgers and everything, and we were like a little hesitant, but you're right. Not everybody eats seafood. So you got to have, if 4 people come and 3 people, one doesn't eat it, you got to find something else for them to eat. So that's why we always have a little bit of something to give that one option.
Yeah. Well, and
Well,
it's
and
always
there's comforters for the vegetarians. I mean, there are options. I mean, it is a seafood place, so primarily it is the seafood, but there are definitely food options.
Well, and I feel
Yeah.
like the word has definitely gotten out because every time I've been there, I have trouble finding parking. So
That is the one. That is the one thing. And what people don't realize though, it's when people are sitting down here, there's 4 cars with 4 people. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, you were so busy," and we're like, "No, we really weren't." But it's just the amount of cars that are in here. I mean, we try to make it. We park off, on a different spot and stuff like that. It's just, I like the place looking that busy because everybody thinks it, and then they're like, "Oh, you're so busy." Well, it is what it is. I'm happy with what we got, and
Well,
thank God everything's worked out so far.
well, in the warmer months, you've kind of expanded the parking lot for a bigger seating area. So there's picnic
Yep.
tables and light. So obviously, in the 3 seasons, it's much better than the winter. But pro tip, I know you put your specials and everything on your Facebook page. So look there and order ahead. And by the time you drive there, it'll be sitting there for you.
That's the thing. A lot of people getting into that, doing that. They order, so by the time they get here, it's ready for them, which is smart.
That's how I feel. I feel like I'm a local, even though nobody qualifies me as that. If I pull up and there's 20 cars, I'm like, who are all these people here? I need my food. So now I order ahead.
Well, that's the thing too. Like like we meet so many people here, so they're like, oh, we tried coming in, it was so busy, and then they come in, they're like, you're not, and then we get to talk to them and stuff, so it's fun. I mean, it's amazing how many people we get to meet, that aren't from local, and they come from up west, and I got people up and down the whole East Coast that we meet, and I try to put my T-shirts out as merch, and people like, oh, they meet on the beach because of that, so it's pretty cool. You're in California and you run into somebody with one of my shirts. My wife's aunt was in Africa, and one of the gentlemen were wearing it, and she couldn't believe it. So it's kind of cool to see where it goes. That's going to be something we're going to do maybe in the spring. We're going to do a little contest to see where our stuff can go. So
I love that, Sunita. It sounds like we need to get ourselves a Southold Fish Market shirt.
You're behind the game. Rainer gets one for Christmas every year. In fact, he has a gray one from a few years ago, which we like. But for some reason, they change colors. And so now Charlie has a whole other brand of colors, and I'm trying to find the navy. They had a nice navy I wanted for you, Tracy. But somebody in that store is looking for an old navy for me because they don't have it anymore. And I left a suggestion saying, navy needs to come back. They're great. You have beanies. You even have baby stuff. Like, I think there's a onesie, but definitely there's kid sizes, right?
Yeah, that started with my kids. The first ones. So, but every time someone I know has a kid or something, I want to see them start up right. Start up with the tired and grow up with it.
Well, what's funny, Charlie, is that I feel like I'm now like blessed that I've met you, and everybody, when they don't say I'm going to the Southold Fish Market. They say I'm going to see Charlie.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now I feel like I'm on the in. Now I can say I'm going to see Charlie.
Yeah, it's just because I've been here for so long. That's all. I'm like the old staple now. I leave it to the young kids.
Well, I wouldn't discount that because that's what this show is entirely about, right? This show is about the North Fork community and what we love about it, and to have a business that's sustained for that long and have everybody know the proprietor by name and feel comfortable enough talking about you by name really says a lot about the business that you're running and how you run it.
And you don't need the second name. You say Charlie and everybody knows who you're talking about. It's like Cher. That's it. You just need to say Sharon. We know who we're talking about.
That's fantastic.
Now you've been here long enough that you've seen the change in the waters and in the fish. So I'd love to hear your input or feedback on the Peconic Bay scallops that people love so much and the changes that you've seen over the years.
Well, I've actually seen a lot because I've seen when it was very good when I was a kid growing up. And then I've seen where there was none, and then I've seen the rebuild, and then now there's few again. So, as growing up as a kid, my dad would always open them. We'd have bushels and bushels and bushels and bushels. And on windy days, that's what my dad and my mom did. They opened scallops, but they had other guys that would come over and shuck for them. But then, then we lost them in the 80s, because of everything, brown tide and stuff. And right now, I think with what we see right now, I think they're on an upswing again because we do have 5 different sets of bugs right now. According to I haven't been out there, but according to all my scallop guys, there's big bugs, there's small bugs, there's stuff as small as like the tip of a pencil. So that's good. That's the stuff that's gonna live.
Yeah.
Do I feel what I feel is with the water? I think it's just Mother Nature. Mother Nature, we lost them 100 years ago also. They're saying it's warm water, this and that. And it could be, I'm not going to say it's not, but I just think Mother Nature, when she wants us to have them, she's going to give them to us. And that's the thing. I mean, if we ever get them back like we had them 30 years ago, or 40 years ago now, 30 years was like yesterday, there's no one to open them anymore. People have forgot how to do that. It's a dying art.
Really?
All the older people are dying off. So everybody's moving, so we, like we have a few people that younger generation now that can do it, but most of the younger generation don't want to do that. They think, it's too much work to stand there for 10, 12 hours and open scallops. They don't realize how much money you make.
Wow.
But it's just it's a different thing. I saw it like 10 years ago when we had a good run, and we were opening them in the shop here. We were in here, and I had 10, 12 openers every day opening, and they were here 10 hours a day.
I have pictures of the Southold Fish Market with the long table in the middle.
Yeah.
And at the time, I didn't realize that they would go away. So I kind of have regrets because I took it for granted in that they would always be there. So I did enjoy it, but not as much as I should have. And then when they were gone, I was like, what do you mean? Last year, there was like a 100-foot table of people opening it, and now there aren't any. So it's just a reminder of, and I love your perspective that when Mother Nature wants to give it to us, she will. And just to appreciate and enjoy what we do get from the bounty of the sea.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, like the last few years, we have a die-off before we can harvest them. And that's been the problem, because they only live 18 months to 24 months. Some will go a little longer, but for the most part, 18 to 24 months is their lifespan. So if they do their job, they're spawning because we have spawn every year, and then they die. That's their lifespan.
I feel like we could have an entire half-hour show about the scallop and the history of it, and like how it develops and supports the ecosystem. And I have all these questions about shucking scallops now.
Is it different than oysters?
Right,
100%. Don't worry. If we got a lot, I'll give you a knife. I'll teach you. I'll teach anybody how to open them. Yep.
I'll do that. I would love to do that.
I love the opened ones after you guys do your training.
You can do that. I'll learn how to open them.
I know you're Tracy. You're from a fish.
You don't
Sorry,
want
I was going to say
one.
Tracy's from a fishing family. She lives on the boat. I'm from a land family. I live on the land. So just give me the scallop, hold the butter because I can't eat it anymore.
Yeah. Well, all right, Charlie. I'm gonna lead us into how we close every show, which is the NOFO Live 5, and we ask the same 5 questions of everybody. So if you were gonna take Sunita and I to lunch or dinner, where would you take us?
Do you want seafood, or you want
wherever,
beef, or
wherever you like to go?
Out here, I tend to go to. I eat a lot over at. I could say Sophie's, my own place, but
which I do.
But no,
I want to hear a little bit about. Can you just add a minute about what you serve there?
Over at Sophie's, we have an array of everything. We have seafood, we have steaks, we have pizzas, we have burgers. So it is we have chicken, we have everything there. We have great specials. We have a great chef. But out here, like depending on like if I'm in Southold, I go to Allure. If I'm down in Greenport, I'll go to Noah's or Demalche. It all depends. I go to Fontino. I go to places that use me all the time. I don't really go to a lot of places that don't use me. So like I'll go to all the places that use me and and support them as they do me. I can find a good thing anywhere I go. It doesn't matter. I think out here we have a really, really good mix of restaurants and stuff like that. So I can pretty much eat anywhere and be happy. Okay,
so based on your fishing background and being on water, is sunrise your thing? And are you asleep for sunset, or do you catch either? What do you enjoy?
I catch sunrise and sunset, unfortunately. Like I said, in the summertime, I'm up 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And by the time I get home, it's 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So I don't really sleep much. I'm a 4 or 5 hour sleeper most days.
Wow.
I would like a lesson on that. I need to learn how to live on less sleep.
I mean, is that working for you? Is that enough for you, or do you feel you need more? I guess that's the question.
No, I've always known. I've been like this since I've been 16.
So it's
I worked all night. I work in the restaurants at night when I wasn't at the fish market, or work on charter boats. So I was a night owl. So I had to be at the dock at 5 a.m. in the morning to be on the boat to go fishing. Or, and some nights we wouldn't get home till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So it was just a turnaround, get dressed, shower, get dressed and go. So now it's just getting up in the morning. I usually have a cup of coffee, talk to the guys, figure out what fish I'm getting. And then when I'm done at the fish market, we get out of here at 8, 9 o'clock some nights. I'm at Sophie's. If they need help there, I help out. It's one of those things that, I don't have a lot of fun time, but I do have a lot of time.
Well, your reputation definitely precedes you, because a friend of mine, Nicole, she happens to also be serving on the board of Slow Foodie Stand with me now. And she mentioned that when she was young, she's still very young, but when she was a young teenager, her first job was started out working with you. And she mentioned how you instilled in her kind of the importance of scrubbing every pan till it was shiny, clean, and new. And that still sticks with her. And I'm like, that's the kind of work ethic. If you're up that many hours, I guess you're doing everything.
Yeah, I try to get kids when they're young. Nicole is, I'm very proud of her. Definitely. I try to get all the kids young and teach that into all of them. So that's the key. I don't know. It's something that I was taught. Work hard and it'll pay off. And I think I try to instill that in everybody.
That's beautiful. That's why you've had the success in the business for the length of time that you do. I mean, it is these little things that I think do make a difference. When you do have fun in your little time, are you going to a brewery, a vineyard, mocktail, cocktail? What do you enjoy?
No, I bounce around the bars. I like to have a few beers here and there with friends. I don't really go out a lot, but yeah, I'll bounce around. I bounce around to the breweries. I'll bounce around to some wineries. I don't drink a lot of wine, but my wife does, so she'll drink a few wine. But mainly I just stick around to my 2 places. That way I don't get in trouble.
I just want to add that you do have a bar at the fish market. I want to call it fish market restaurant, but it's fish market. But you do have beer and wine for sale to go with the food there as well, correct?
Yeah, yep. If somebody wants to come in and have, we definitely have. We have everything. We have full license, so, but we just mainly do predominantly beer and wine.
Now, for the food that you're preparing at either restaurant or at home, do you guys work with any particular farm stands?
Yeah, I use a bunch of different guys. Depending on what we're using. Like if I want apples or something, we'll either go to Breeze Hill or Wickham's. If we want vegetables, I'll either go to Country View or Latham's. Or even Breeze Hill. And we use the organic, Jeff's place up on Oregon Road. So we jump around all over, depending on what people have. Like fishing's like the same thing. Like all those guys tell us what we have, and like, oh, we'll get from him. So yeah, I do. Especially when in the season, we use a lot of local vegetables because that's why people are coming here.
Yeah.
Vegetables and fish. That's the key. I mean, we're so lucky out here, and my wife and I were talking yesterday. It was our anniversary, and we were just BSing, and we were talking about possibly moving. I told my wife, I'll never move from here. My house is always here. I love this community. I love this town. I don't agree with everything, but you know what? It works. I love the East End of Long Island.
Yeah. I was just having a conversation with someone about they were planning on moving off of Long Island because of the taxes. And I was like, I am paying those taxes until I die because I'm never leaving.
I mean, if
I agree.
I would like garbage pickup for those taxes, but other than that, I would pay the taxes and live here too. I'm sometimes slightly jealous that Riverhead has garbage pickup, Tracy.
And believe me, I love my garbage guys so much.
Yeah, but Riverhead taxes are more.
Yes, this is true.
We can
This is true.
call Norfolk Sanitation. They'll come and pick it up for you, and you still save a little money.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell them Charlie said.
Charlie said. All right. Well, Charlie, tell us in 1 or 2 sentences why you love being a part of the North Fork community.
Just the people. I really like. I like how everybody does come together when we have an event or somebody local needs something. You know, I've been such a part of a lot of different organizations, you know, and it's amazing how we're such a tight-knit community. You know, somebody needs something, boom, there's 50 people on your back step helping. And that's the thing, you know, I seen it with the Dylan Newman Foundation. I've seen it with, you know, a couple of different other foundations and that we've done. And it's amazing how people come out of the woodwork to help. You know, even like, you know, we do something at the firehouse.
You can see in the comments here. Yeah, you can see in the comments here that you are well loved in the community.
I can't even read them. They're flying by faster than I can see them. Thank you so much, Charlie.
I hope everybody I tried.
It was amazing. I mean, I learned a lot. And most importantly, what I learned today is that because it's visible in farms that there's a growing season and you recognize, or I recognize that now it's broccoli time and it's kale time, I didn't realize that fishing also, it has a season in that you get a fish in a season and B fish in B season. So I'm going to be more mindful of that and eat local and eat seasonal and pay a little more attention to that.
100%. I mean, local is where it's at. You know, everybody can go buy it in the box store, but you keep us out here going. You know, that's the key. And you know that's kind of what I hope everybody, when they come from the city, they buy and bring back. So that's the one thing. You know, we got to keep the locals going out here so we can have what we have.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Charlie. I'm so excited to have finally met you, and I plan to call you by your first name when I see you out and about.
I just realized, Tracy, I'm sorry.
We can all
say
come
that
and
again,
have
Charlie.
lunch here. We can come here and have lunch.
We will.
Can Tracy bring her, Charlie?
Oh, yes.
Can Tracy bring her, Charlie?
Maybe that's why Charlie wanted to get on my lap, because he kept hearing me say
I was watching the two of you together. I'm going, there's two Charlies on the screen right now. Well, thank you so much, Charlie. Everybody, enjoy your day. Go check out the Southold Fish Market. Pre-order if you don't want to wait in line. But there's a lot of stuff you can take home. The ahi tuna or the fresh tuna is amazing to eat as sushi. There's just so much. Go check it out for yourself.
Thank you so much, Charlie.
Have a good
All right. Thank you, guys.
Friday.
Thank you.
See you next week. Bye.